Howdy, folks. I'm Mark, and today I'm joined once again by Mark Kozlowski. Did I say Kozlowski? I messed it. I was reading it, and I corrected myself. Kozlowski. Here we go. But most importantly, your name is Mark. Mark, thank you for joining me for this short talk about video games. Good to have you back here, and so you are all listening to Quick Play. So let's get right into it. So we, as you know, we've been running this series over the course of the year of 2025, where we're doing the game of the decade. Where we're asking what has been your game of the decade so far. And that's just worked as a nice little checkpoint on games in the 2020s and just talking about games we like. So talking through what's been your game of the decade so far. So Mark, what has been your game of the decade so far?
Yeah. So I've been listening to the show, and I don't think the year 2023 has been talked about. If it has, then apologies. But I was thinking about 2023.
Yeah.
And 2023 was a big year, I feel like, for video games. There were a lot of good ones. So I guess from that year, I'll tell you what I didn't pick. I didn't pick Tears of the Kingdom. Didn't pick Final Fantasy XVI. I didn't pick Baldur's Gate 3 because, honestly, I don't have time for that.
That's actually between a Baldur's Gate 3 episode will go up, but after this one or before this one in the future. Time makes sense. Keep going.
Yeah. So I didn't pick Spider-Man 2. Mostly because. Yeah, I mean, I haven't finished it, but it's great. But it's just kind of it's a lot more and bigger Spider-Man. Didn't pick Alan Wake 2.
Spider-Man 2?
Yeah. I didn't pick Alan Wake 2 because, honestly, if I'm honest, that would probably be my pick for 2023, but I haven't finished it. So I picked Resident Evil 4 Remake, and that is my game of the decade so far. Mostly just because I want to talk about it. I love.
No, that's great. That's why we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, excellent. So we start out with kind of like in your mind and your words, what is Resident Evil 4 Remake about?
What is it about? So you play as you're just looking for like kind of an overall summary or of sort of plot synopsis, not synopsis, but description.
Yeah. The question's open-ended on purpose. I just want to see where do you go with it. You want to talk about story? You want to talk about mechanics? All the above.
Yeah. So the story kind of, to table set, it's a zombie game at its kind of at its core. It's a horror game that is a remake of a game that came out for the GameCube, I believe, in the aughts, mid to early aughts. I mean, I feel like most people, if you're listening to a video game podcast, you probably know what Resident Evil 4 is. Because from what I understand, the original Resident Evil 4 is sort of seminal and has influenced pretty much every over-the-shoulder action game for the past 20 years. But story-wise, you play as Leon Kennedy, who is trying to find the daughter of the President of the United States of America, who has been abducted by a cult, and that's kind of where you start the game at. And it's a game about. It's pretty simple. It's a game about shooting zombies before they kill you and trying to get out alive, and really nothing more complicated than that.
Nice. I want to pause real quick. Have you seen the chainsaw controller from the original release of Resident Evil 4?
I've never seen it. I've never played with it. But it's probably also something that my wife would not want to see like set out on our entertainment center, especially with our 2-year-old around.
Yes, it's a statement piece, and not the right statements, but like if you get the chance, responsibly if you're listening. Google Resident Evil 4 GameCube controller, and it's an abomination, and kind of amazing. So it's like this cult abducts the president's daughter. It's a zombie game. You're shooting zombies. It's cool. What all do you like about it?
What do I like about it? So kind of as a whole package, honestly, it's just kind of, I don't want to say perfect video game, but it's just kind of like a perfect video game. It's the graphics are incredible, which is probably not the first thing that you should say about a video game. But the gameplay it's just super polished. And full disclosure, some people may pause the podcast and delete this episode once they hear me say this. I've never played the original. I've tried. After I beat the remake, I downloaded, or I bought the 4, 5, 6 kind of Resident Evil triple pack or whatever for $12 on the PlayStation Store. I tried playing the original Resident Evil 4, and the tank controls were not for me. I just could not do it. I may try to go back at some point and play it, but have not beaten the original, so I don't have a good point of reference for the changes and all of that. But from what I understand, at least the spirit of the original game is preserved, if not a little bit darker in tone in the new one. But what do I like about it? So the graphics, the gameplay is super snappy. Gameplay, it just feels really good to play, mechanics wise, and also the loop of getting into basically a zombie encounter and then collecting resources and then crafting more, organizing your suitcase, and which is kind of funny if you think about it, but because you never context see, you never actually see the suitcase in the game, you just see it in the menus. But you organize your suitcase, you reload your guns, you craft more resources, you just kind of prepare for the next one and look for stuff you can sell to the merchant for bigger and cooler and better stuff. And that loop is just really well tuned. I feel on the standard, at least on the standard difficulty, I'm always about to run out of ammo when I find more. And I think that's just kind of that's just a hard balance to strike. And overall, I mean, just the package, the game overall as a package is just extremely polished and really well done. It's just as a piece of software. So it's really impressive. And those are kind of the surface level things I like about it.
Very nice. Have you played other Resident Evil? Well, you went back and you tried out the older versions. Did you play more of those or play other more modern ones?
So I started Resident Evil 2 Remake in 2023. Yeah. I think I kind of got interested in the remakes and the Resident Evil remakes at about the same time. And Resident Evil 2 was cheaper, and it came with Resident Evil 3. I started playing that one and kind of fell off of it for reasons I'll probably get into a little bit later. But hilariously, and this is a complete tangent, I played Resident Evil 2 for 3 hours one night. And then I walked into our living room and my wife was watching Gilmore Girls. So I kind of decompressed watching Gilmore Girls, which is kind of whiplash tone-wise.
Yeah, sure.
But now I have this weird association in my head. Every time I see Gilmore Girls, I think about Resident Evil 2 and zombies. It's just kind of a really strange.
These two are forever linked in your mind.
Yeah, it totally makes sense in my mind, but not at all to anyone else. But I have tried those. I am kind of looking forward to the Requiem that comes out early next year.
Okay.
But I haven't played 4, 5, 6. I haven't really played any of the other ones. Just 4 and part of 2, which I plan to go back and play too.
Nice. Was this 4 remake? Was this your first one that you played, or is
it's the first one I completed? Yeah, I played probably
okay?
3 to 5 hours of Resident Evil 2.
Okay,
But
I
Resident Evil 4,
couldn't tell
yeah.
what time it was. Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 was the first one that I completed. Yeah,
It really got its hooks in you.
yeah.
So it being like a perfect video game, like is there anything you wish was different?
Yeah. It's a zombie game, so it's probably weird to say that I wish it was a little less gory sometimes, but
Sure.
it's just some, I think it kind of comes with the territory. Sometimes it's just gross, and it could be a little bit much, but that just kind of, I feel like that just kind of comes with it being a Resident Evil game about the undead and various other gross things. But yeah, if I could change one thing, maybe that, but otherwise I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm a little squeamish, so I'm probably never going to try this out, but I like hearing about it. But I would also, I don't know, like you'd have to fundamentally change the game to be to make the minimal amount of gore that I am capable of handling. So I think this game is not for me, but I admire it from a distance. I admire that weird controller from a distance. But okay, so this is your game of the decade, at least so far. What really makes it so special?
Yeah. So I think what makes it so special, I mean, a couple of things. I'll start with one small thing and then one more interesting thing. So the first thing, it's a great like movie of a game. Like the tone is just campy enough to be entertaining but not eye rolling. And they nail that. I don't know how they do it. They nail that balance really well. The second thing that I think makes it so special is really pretty subjective and specific to me. So a little bit of history on me. Something you probably wouldn't be able to tell before, at this point in the conversation, is I historically have hated horror, like any sort of horror, anything scary. Just not about it. Like when I was in 8th grade, a substitute teacher made us watch The Ring in one of my classes.
Oh no!
In 8th grade, yeah.
Wow.
And
it's messed up.
Yeah, it was not great. Didn't go over well with a lot of the parents. But just kind of, after that I was like pretty much done with horror and just didn't want to have anything to do with it. And so just avoided it. Like it just really wasn't for me. I don't know what it was that kind of got me interested in Resident Evil, but I think it was the fact that I could tell that it was like a pretty polished game, and like I liked the graphical style, and the gameplay looked like fun, and I was hearing a lot of good reviews, and so I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And so booted it up, and as soon as I booted it up, I was like, okay, when can I be done with this game? It was just I was just immediately like, all right, this is pretty scary, and so just kind of pushed through it. I don't really know why I pushed through it. Probably because I spent money on it, and there's like that psychological thing that if you spend money on it, like you kind of got to extract value out of it.
Yeah, you've got to see it through. Got to get money's worth.
And I was playing it, and at some point during the campaign, I kind of like, and I think this is pretty common with a lot of horror games. Like you go from being disempowered to actually being empowered and being more formidable than your enemies, and that happened. So I was playing the game, and some switch flipped, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is scary, but I actually have like a toolkit, and I have agency, and I have I have like kind of confidence in my ability to handle these situations, which was kind of like, maybe not to put too fine a point on it, but kind of therapeutic a little bit.
Sure.
I've struggled with anxiety, and so like it was a little bit therapeutic to like, I guess kind of like, an exposure therapy kind of thing, like doing something scary and then realizing that, oh, okay, I can actually handle this. And so somewhere along the line that clicked and that happened, and I started just having a ton of fun with it. And it's still scary.
Nice.
I mean, Resident Evil 4 is probably one of the least like scary, from what I can tell, one of the least like scary of the Resident Evil games. But it's still, it's still got some pretty dark imagery and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I finished up the game and I played the DLC, and I'm, started playing it again recently, and yeah, I'm a big fan. I think it's
nice.
It's a great game, and kind of with that sort of personal icing on top, it's probably one of my all-time favorites.
Very nice. Yeah, it's cool to hear that. Like hear the story kind of just recognizing like, oh, I can handle this, because like I'm already squeamish around gore in general, of like, I absolutely don't want anything to do with horror. Like, but I can still get that, understand that sense of just kind of hitting this point of like, oh no, I can handle this. Like, I have the toolkit, I have the ability, and like, and this is put in the spot where it's like, you just kind of get it done, and start to enjoy it. So all that in mind, do you think in 2030 that this will still be your game of the decade?
Probably not. No, not because I don't like it, but I think honestly, picking this game, I just wanted to talk about it. It's not like my, it's on my sort of Mount Rushmore of games, but I think there are probably other games that have or probably will stick with me as like, okay, as I remember, the gaming years of 2020 to 2030, there's probably going to be like one or two that'll probably stick out more than Resident Evil 4. Sure. But I love Resident Evil 4.
Very nice. So moving on from Resident Evil 4, do you have another game you want to kind of shout out or talk about quickly that's like your own personal game of the decade, like a game that didn't come out in 2020 or in the 2020s, or just another game that like got chosen already that is actually your game of the decade?
Have we talked about Breath of the Wild? I said we have, has quick play. Have you talked about Breath of the Wild? Because I'll probably pick Breath of the Wild.
So like Breath of the Wild being like 2017 game, not Tears of the Kingdom that from 2023. So we've done an episode on Tears of the Kingdom, but we've not talked about like, this actually hasn't, as much as I talked about Breath of the Wild, there hasn't been like a solo episode on Breath of the Wild. But anyway.
Okay. Well, yeah. With the caveat that I know that Breath of the Wild did come out in this decade. I've played it plenty in this decade.
Yeah, and that's the question. So.
Yeah. So, Breath of the Wild. I mean, even more than Tears of the Kingdom, I love Tears of the Kingdom, but Breath of the Wild was just really special. I mean, that is. I mean, I'm trying to think. Yeah, probably my favorite game that I've ever played, and so I would have. Yeah, I'd have to put that one up there as game of the decade with an asterisk.
Yes, nice. Well, that's great. That's my all-time favorite game. So, but that's from last decade and whichever.
Good taste.
Yes, of course. Good name, good taste. Likes Formula One. Yeah, we've become one.
Williams in particular.
Yes, Williams fan as well. Very nice. Well, our time here is short, but before we go, what is one hope that you have for the rest of the decade?
I'd love to see more creativity. I'd love to see. What's the best way that I can say this? I'd love the storytelling trend or the storytelling bar that a game like Clair Obscur set to be sort of like aspired to by a lot more studios. I think as I get older, I feel like I'm aging out of the demographic for a lot of like the target demographic for a lot of games. And
Sure.
yeah, I walked away from like a game like Clair Obscur. Just really, I loved the nuance. I loved a lot of the themes that it talked about, and I loved the fact that there's a lot to think about and discuss at the end of that game.
Yeah.
And so, more writing and storytelling like that would be fantastic. I'm really excited to dive into Alan Wake 2. Because I have kind of a newfound like enjoyment of scary things, and
Sure. Yeah.
I
So you've
kind of
unlocked a
feel
whole
like
genre for yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Alan Wake 2. I have played a little bit of it, but I got into it in sort of a busy season. I was like, look, I'm gonna save this for when I can actually sink my teeth into it. A little bit of I played. The writing was phenomenal, and the story was just very interesting. And so, my hope for the rest of the decade is that there are more like that, and more nuanced, interesting stories you can really sink your teeth into.
Yeah. Well, very nice. Well, time to wrap up here, but before we go, one name, one game. What are you playing now?
So I'm not technically playing it right now, but downstairs, still in the cellophane in the Target bag with the receipt, is Ghost of Yotei, and I am very excited to dive into that.
Yeah. So you'll be playing it here shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. What am I playing now? I'm probably still chipping away at Mario Galaxy 2. Been replaying that.
There you go.
Been enjoying
it.
Well, Mark, thank you again for joining me for the second time. Where else are you out on the internet?
So I am not a huge poster on any of the social outlets. You can find me on X and Instagram and Blue Sky. I don't think I've actually posted anything on Blue Sky, but Threads, all of that stuff. But most of my activity happens on most of my activity happens on Letterboxd. I'm at Mark Kozlow on Letterboxd, MAKOZLO.
Very nice. We'll link that down below as well. Well, thank you all for listening in, and you can follow us on the major podcasting services or on YouTube. You can press all the good buttons if you enjoyed this conversation, and you can also find us on the proper socials at Quick Play Pod. Every so often I stumble on it, and I wonder why did I name it something that's so hard to say, but you can all let us know. Is Resident Evil 4 Remake, is that the game of the decade? I mean, I gotta know now. But that's all the time we have for today. Thanks, and bye.